reaction video. This is a reaction video on one of my favorite. Right, sorry about that, guys. Yeah. I was on YouTube. I'm on YouTube right now. Because why not? I haven't done an episode for Arkham Knight today. There will be one out tomorrow. I'll get one out tomorrow as soon as I'll just upload it as soon as. Maybe it's only 11 minutes past 8 at night, but come across this video and someone reviewing the Thunderbirds movie. Now, I have the movie somewhere. I don't know if it's beside me, but this is my favourite Thunderbirds movie, the live action one. Obviously, I've watched the Thunderbirds. I watched the original puppets ones because my dad showed me it, and yeah, it's one of my favourite films. What Thunderbirds, Hellboy, the original one. I like the newer one. Like there's many other films I like in my childhood, and this is one of them. And yeah, it does sound like he's taking the mick out of it, but I want to see, and I will pause at certain points, and then plus I'm eating. So yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with that. But yeah, let's react to the Thunderbirds review of this guy, and this guy's called.
You have to play by the rules. You understand?
Damn fine.
Glossy big screen adaptation of the classic
So,
1960
obviously,
puppet series
as what it says
Thunderbirds
right there,
sounded like it could
even
have
though
been
my
a fun time at the movies. But then again,
face cam
people
is
once thought
above
open
it,
sewers
but
were an
it
exciting
will be
development
spoilers
in urban
of the
planning.
movie.
Thunderbirds are go.
You should be
Thunderbirds.
watched it.
But in this family of heroes, there is one son left behind.
Thunderbirds was the most successful of Jerry and Sylvia Anderson's Super Marionation series from the 1960s. Super Marionation shows combined marionette
That's one
characters
thing that's
with
true.
fantastic special effects and were generally successful wherever they were screened. But Thunderbirds was the real deal. Its two 1960s big screen adaptations, however, made about as much impression as somebody attacking a Martian war machine with a paper plane. Thunderbirds was about ex-astronaut Jeff Tracy and his 5 otherwise unemployed sons, Scott, Virgil, Alan, Gordon, and John, who operated the fabulous Thunderbird rescue machines for secret organization International Rescue. They're helped out by a wide cast of characters: inventor Brains, housekeeper Kirano, his daughter Tintin, and London agent Lady Penelope and her chauffeur Parker. Whenever there's a big
So
disaster,
that all those characters
International
that I
Rescue is
seen
on
in
the
the
scene to
film
help
was also
out.
in the.
Occasionally they'll come up against the machinations of the Hood, Kirano's half-brother, but he's often trying to make off with the secrets of International
Played by the
Rescue to
fabulous
sell on the black
Ben
market.
Kingsley.
Look, IP
Thank you
theft
for
is
that name.
serious business. Over the years, the rights to the various Super Marionation shows changed hands more times than a bright orange jet ski. But by the mid-90s, Thunderbird seemed destined to finally hit the big screen again.
I get the picture and I like it.
By the time it was finally released in 2004, well, things didn't go so well.
No, that's negative!
Thunderbirds has Jeff Tracy and his 4 oldest children off saving people, while the youngest, Alan, is still in high school, waiting for his chance to join the family business.
Why not me?
Because you're too young.
Alan and his offsider Fermat, the son of International Rescue's resident boffin Brains,
Hello, boys.
are picked up from school by Lady Penelope and given a lift back home to Tracy Island. Alan Tracy is champing at the bit to leave school and pilot a Thunderbird of his own, because the world needs more high school dropouts who flunked mathematics flying rocket-powered craft.
Wish that was me.
No,
Okay, that's a bit funny.
So Alan does whatever most bored and frustrated teens do. And after that, he
Drop
goes
off.
joyriding in a Thunderbird. Gets chewed out by his dad, because dad just doesn't understand Alan. Why the hell would you want to understand Alan?
You need to grow up.
Meanwhile, International Rescue's usually unseen nemesis has plans to take over the Thunderbird craft.
I'm going to use the Thunderbirds to rob the largest banks in the world, starting with the Bank of London.
So very quickly, the Hood manages to trap Jeff Tracy and his sons on a crippled Thunderbird 5 in orbit around Earth, and it's up to Alan Tracy, the perennial whiny immature brat of the Thunderbirds universe, to save his family. For most of the film, the titular craft sit idle or damaged, while Alan Tracy, Fermat Hackenbacker, and Kirano's daughter Tintin traipse across the lovely Tracy Island, trying to find ways to beat the Hood's plans.
You've broken my nose.
Yes, that was very much the intention of the maneuver.
Lady Penelope and Parker appear on the scene, but the Hood's powers of mind control are formidable. Mind control is not that far-fetched. Have you ever been told the water in the swimming pool will change colour if somebody takes a leak? That worked on me, but it didn't work on my cousin Ted, or as we know him, Piss Pool Ted, who is banned from every public swimming pool across the country.
Kirano, have you seen Lady P?
Yes. Well,
Eventually, Alan and company are able to free the Tracys trapped in space, and all meet up in London to put a stop to the Hood's plans. Again, the Hood's supernatural powers make it tricky, but Tintin, who's basically the Hood's niece, has inherited some of her uncle's gifts, and Alan manages to prevail.
I don't want to save your life. But it's what we do.
Huzzah!
It's what we do.
Thunderbirds is not a film with a great reputation.
thunder turd.
Somebody once tried to show me the film on DVD, and I think I asked them to turn it off after about 5 minutes in favour of just watching the DVD screensaver, which, truth be told, might have been a more entertaining way to spend an evening. The effects were about on par, and the dialogue is somehow better.
Just look at that.
As for the film Thunderbirds, after watching it properly after so many years, how is it? This is a film that a lot of people absolutely despise. There wasn't much I liked, but there is some good. The most glaring issue in a film called Thunderbirds.
Hold on a minute. Hold on a goddamn minute. Everyone despises it, so I'm the only one that likes Thunderbirds. Honestly, I think I've spoken to people about the Thunderbirds movie as well. I mentioned the Thunderbirds movie that came out in 2004, and everyone says, "Oh, that film's good. I like that film. Yeah, it wasn't as good, but I watched it recently. You know, it's actually pretty good."
Is the notable lack of Thunderbirds actually doing anything Thunderbirdy for the most part. The actual design of the craft exterior are in keeping with the original designs. They are realised nicely with models and
Thunderbirds.
CG. Live action Tracy Island works pretty well, so there are no major complaints there. Most of the characters are reasonably well cast for what this film is trying to achieve.
FAB.
The visuals in this film are generally quite good. I mean, there are films from 2004 with far worse effects than Thunderbirds.
Sure, but wasn't that part of the
I wouldn't say that the CG was bad. It was actually pretty good at its time. The one thing I would compare it to at that time would have been Hellboy. Particularly the one. It's just one scene out of Hellboy, I would say. Maybe two, maybe, I don't know. And that's the scene where Hellboy's got his can and he crunches it up, and in the hand it's not like real, it is actually a red hand. A red CG, pardon me. It's a red CG hand. So, and it's really bad.
Having been handed the keys to Thunderbirds,
I wouldn't say the CG in Thunderbirds is all bad.
Adaptation of Joe 90.
It's
After the TV
beautifully
series
done.
Thunderbirds, Jerry and Sylvia Anderson made 3 Super Marionation series with more realistically proportioned puppets. One of those shows, Joe 90, was about a 9-year-old boy who wears glasses that allow him to tap into a pre-programmed set of skills, like turning him into a brain surgeon, or he's able to pilot a jet or become a master spy.
I do not know the landing procedure.
Because Joe's dad apparently thought nothing of having his child exploited by spy agencies. As a series, Joe 90 failed to make anywhere near the splash of shows like Thunderbirds, mainly because it was felt kids did not want to see a show about a kid. Here, the bulk of the film is Alan, Fermat, and Tintin taking on the Hood and his two quarter-witted accomplices. Why? In 2001, Robert Rodriguez's movie Spy Kids was a huge hit, leading to any number of goofy
That's
kids
why
movies with
that's
children
why
being
there's a bit of a
spies or
Spy Kids
superheroes.
element
The
to
idea
it,
was,
is because
hey, why don't we do that with Thunderbirds?
yeah,
This Thunderbirds movie has action scenes and fights, which have goofy cartoon sound effects added to make any action feel less violent and more suitable for the kids of the day.
I concur.
to be quite fair, it fits Thunderbirds really. My dad even said that.
It's also
The
got
goofy
humor and
sounds
drama
fit
pitched at
Thunderbirds.
pre-teens. Well, what's the problem? Thunderbirds was always a kid show, wasn't it?
No way.
And realistically, the producers and Universal Studios were not going to spend millions of dollars on a Thunderbirds movie aimed at adults. Until, of course, somebody did just that the same year. What we have
Yeah,
here is a kids'
Team
property
America.
that was really turned into a modern kids' movie of the time, which means we have school-aged Alan Tracy and Fermat noticing Tintin.
Blossoming? What's that supposed to mean?
Come on, Alan. You have a crush on her.
Thunderbirds was directed by
Maybe.
Jonathan Frakes. Yes, Commander Riker from Star Trek The Next Generation. He'd been the first cast member of that series to try his hand in directing episodes.
Oh!
And pretty soon was helming episodes of
It
various
was
90s Trek
it was
shows
directed
before
by
directing two Star Trek
Riker.
movies in the late 90s. He'd made a kids movie Clockstoppers,
Oh.
and so he seemed a good fit. You know, he could juggle kids, special effects, beards. The man was a polymath.
Okay.
You know what?
Sprint.
After knowing that is,
The cast themselves
I didn't even
worked well
know
enough
who it
with
was.
the
No
material
wonder my
provided.
dad showed me
Look,
this
sure, it's
movie as
tempting, but
well.
we really need to get back to Thunderbirds. Star Brady Corbett had to carry the film.
Oh, shut up with that. Shut up with the fucking DVD thing. Come on. You're being absolutely stupid. Honestly. I know it's trying to go for a gag joke, but seriously, once is enough. Now you're just deliberately trying to shit on the movie now.
For what it's worth or not worth, he's decent enough given the film's idea of who Alan Tracy is. I'm on record as being an Alan skeptic, which means while I believe Alan Tracy exists, I don't believe he needs to be front and center of every Thunderbirds project. Such is the bizarro universe feeling to this film, John Tracy seems to have more dialogue than Scott, Virgil and Gordon combined. Bill Paxton is Jeff Tracy, and Bill Pullman is thankfully nowhere to be seen since that would be confusing. Paxton makes a decent Jeff Tracy, but somebody's obviously typecast him as a bloke who gets stuck in space. He's also not in it for much of the film.
Plus, as well with speaking about Jeff Tracy as well, is that with me watching the puppet version of Thunderbirds as well, and actually watching this as well, I've experienced both Thunderbirds having Jeff Tracy in the boys having
To
the
Ben
father in
Kingsley
their
is
life.
the Hood.
And then as well as that, foreshadowing of the next bit, I see with Ben Kingsley as the Hood, in the animated one, which I did watch because I thought, oh, it's Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds is back. They're making a TV series again. They're making the TV series again and having like miniatures and having animation as well. But I don't know if it was miniatures they used. I think it was actually fully blown CG animations that looked realistic. Yeah, in that series, I think Jeff Tracy is missing or is presumed dead to the boys. So the boys continue helping people. Suits are different. Tracy Ireland, it practically looks the same. It's kind of a homage between the OG and the modern, so the from the movie. Thunderbird 2 looks very different. Thunderbird 1 I think looks the same. Looks the same as the one from the movie. Thunderbird 3 looks the same as well, just more upgrades. Thunderbird 4, I think it's the same. And Thunderbird 5 looks different. It looks like a actual space station. Looks like the NASA space station that you get. But yeah, other than that, I did like the animated series. It was just a little bit different without Jeff Tracy in it. So yeah,
Because that
but I think he
Gandhi
came
Oscar only
in
takes
later
you
on. I think
so
they
far
do
in
find
life.
him later
There's
on.
a procession of mostly anonymous 20-somethings as the Tracy Boys, because apparently by the look of them, they are now a boy band with lashings of hair product and highlights. Anthony Edwards' inventor brains now actually
So
Mr.
you're saying that the
seems to
boys,
be mentally conjuring ways for his
so
character
John,
from ER to return
Virgil,
from the dead.
Scott,
And that's
and
Disney starlet
Virgil
Vanessa Ann Hudgens as Tintin.
And hemlines are going up.
That is good news, milady.
look like a
Oh,
boy
and apparently
band.
England won the
Shut
football
up.
last night.
But I would venture the best
Of course, yeah,
casting
you have
in
to
the
put,
film
you have to
is
put,
Ron
you have to
Cooper's
put that
Parker and Sophia
joke in with
Myles
England
as
as well,
Lady
with football and
Penelope.
that.
Parker still has
Parker
that
being an
slightly
England
dodgy
fan,
air
of
about him.
course.
He's a little bit ooh, a little bit air. He's a little bit he's a geezer.
Have a look
He's
at
a
it.
geezer.
If time travel was a thing, Sophia Myles could travel back to the 1960s and successfully sue Jerry and Sylvia Anderson for using her likeness. For a film set in the future, there's an awful lot of early 2000s Fords in this film, with the company logo displayed prominently at various
Yeah, of
points.
course.
Because yeah, kids buy motor cars. Even Lady Penelope's Rolls-Royce Fab 1 seems to have been downgraded into a Ford concept car. So she's got money, just not that much. Hans Zimmer was at the time scoring every film under the sun, or at least people who worked for Hans Zimmer. The film's soundtrack is generic action film music of the era, but it's quality generic action film music of the era. It's mostly suitable. I mean, he's no Jeff Love, but nobody's perfect. Of course, the film ends with a disposable early 2000s pop rock song. So while I liked some of the visuals, there is a lot of green screen. It's a very colourful
Yeah, a
film,
lot of green
but
screen,
perhaps too
as I
colourful,
can see
with many
nowadays.
sets looking like the
If I was
production
watching
designers
it, I would
couldn't
definitely
afford one
see the
colour
green
in
screen.
bulk and instead just raided
But
a paint
I
warehouse
wouldn't
for free
say
sample colour
it's
pots and
bad
used
green
those.
screen.
FAB Alan.
We don't normally
Like I
give
said, it's a
numerical
visual.
scores for things, but
The
hypothetically
visual
speaking, if we
artists,
did
the
give Thunderbirds a
the
numerical score,
VFX
what would
team
we give it out of
have
5? 5?
done it.
4? I don't think so. 3? Getting warmer. 2? 1? No, too far. Back it up. 2? Yeah, sounds about right. Jerry Anderson wasn't involved, but would later say he was offered payments to say nice things about the film. In the end, he declined to say nice things about this movie, but I heard on the grapevine he was really impressed by the DVD screensaver. I had
Shut
stayed
up,
away
but
from this film for a very long time, and I found while it wasn't a total disaster, it was a minor
See, I
disaster,
probably will get
like an
backlash
actual
from his
disaster
fans
they called International
saying, "Oh,
Rescue,
you're not a proper
because in
Thunderbirds
the
fan.
film,
You're
they
not a
kinda
proper
forgot
fan
about
of
the
him.
actual
You
Thunderbirds
just
and instead gave
saying
us
jokes.
the
Yeah,
Alan
he's saying
Tracy
jokes
origin
at a
story
really
that
horrible,
nobody asked
stupid
for.
time. He's
Outside of the Alan Tracy
basically
fan club, Alan Anonymous.
shitting the
The
film.
world needs Thunderbirds. And the Thunderbirds need you.
Thunderbirds was made for an audience who had probably never actually seen an episode of Thunderbirds before, so perhaps borrowing ideas from Spy Kids wasn't a terrible idea, but the
Right, for one, right? He's saying that Thunderbirds was made for people who haven't seen Thunderbirds, who haven't seen an episode of Thunderbirds. I seen these Thunderbirds before the movie came out. I was introduced to Thunderbirds way before the movie was announced, or maybe was announced at the time, but we go from there. Don't say that. Don't say that it was made for people who haven't seen Thunderbirds. Yeah, it's for maybe people who haven't seen Thunderbirds before, but that makes them want to watch Thunderbirds more. That makes them want to watch the older Thunderbirds TV show, the puppet one, and then they see that oh, there's a new one, Thunderbirds Are Go. Let me watch that one as well.
execution leaves a lot to be desired.
I don't
And they
think
still
he's a
make a
proper
joke about
Thunderbirds
strings,
fan, because
which I can improve on.
the way I
There
can
is
hear
so
him,
much hanging about in this film, but not
he's-
enough tension. There is slack plotting with story threads that are in
I don't
danger of
think
becoming
he
tangled. The
sounds
plot strand of the Hood being one of the people
that
the Tracys didn't manage to save
he's
is
a
about
true
on par for
Thunderbird
this era,
fan.
dangling like fruit on a sagging branch. Look, I'm done. On its release in cinemas in the summer of 2004, Thunderbirds did quite poorly at the box office. Its worldwide ticket sales barely recovered half of its production budget, which would make this a pretty major bomb. The film's reputation is that it's terrible. Maybe it's not quite as bad as that, but it's still pretty ordinary. It might be a
That's 'cause
pleasant
people
enough
back
diversion
then
and entertain
weren't
you in the right circumstances. Perhaps you need to take your mind off something
investing
like high
in
winds,
it.
people
They thought,
shouting
oh, it's a
shark, or
basic
air raid
cash
sirens.
grab.
But realistically, this film is only for people who grew
That's
up
what
with
the
it
fans would
or
have think.
were
That's a
morbidly
basic cash
curious.
grab, basically.
This
But
2004 version of Thunderbirds shows Thunderbirds fans across the generations can share the experience of having a disappointing big screen adaptation of Thunderbirds.
And I don't like that.
This mishmash seemed to delight no one. Though, like anything, there will be
Honestly,
fans for
if
whom this is
Universal,
what Thunderbirds is.
as what other studios have been doing with their
How do you
20th
see that one,
anniversary
I suppose
movies
you
as
guys
well,
think this
with
is funny.
Batman and
This
that,
was a one-shot thanks to its poor
I would
reception,
want
but I can't help
Thunderbirds
thinking
be
I might have
brought
been
back
interested in a
into
spin-off from this
cinemas
film,
for its
ditching
20th
international
anniversary next
rescue
year,
and instead
because
concentrating on
next year
Miles
is
and
20th
Hook as
anniversary
Penny
of
and Parker.
Thunderbirds, and
That's quite enough
I
music
will
for
want
one
to
night.
go and see it
If
in
you
big
enjoyed
screen,
this
because I'd
video,
never seen it
please
on the big
like and
screen.
subscribe, leave a comment below, or check out some of our other videos.
So, what do I think of that? Well, there was some things I would agree on. That, yes, it may have bombed the box office. I wouldn't know. I would gladly check. But I'm not going to, and then I'm putting it into the video saying, yes, he is right. It did technically bombed at the box office. It might have. I would take his word for it. It did. It probably would have bombed at the box office. One, maybe because they hadn't, what's the word? Advertised it enough. Like with Aquaman 2. We didn't get any advertisements whatsoever until this month, and it's out the end of this month. Near the end of this month. It's actually going to be out. I think it's the 21st. Yeah, so it's out next Thursday, and there wasn't any advertisements at all from last month or October to advertise Aquaman 2. So, but it won't bomb at the box office like what Thunderbirds did. That's one. Advertisement. Two, people who don't watch Thunderbirds wouldn't go and see it because they didn't know what Thunderbirds is. So, yeah, they would not know what Thunderbirds is if their dad didn't watch it. If the dad didn't watch it, it wouldn't. Again, it would bomb at the box office. Three, the folk, the dads, and maybe mothers as well. I don't know if women did like watching Thunderbirds because they've seen puppets and that, and seen the newer ones as well. So yeah, the the parents wouldn't um wouldn't have shown their kids Thunderbirds at a very young age at 2004. If the kids were just born, say, at the start of the millennium to 2000, either 2000 or 2001. So I was born in 2001, so I was introduced until 2004, same year as Thunderbirds came out. At the time, Thunderbirds would have came out at the same time, but hey, there you go. That's another thing why it would have bombed at the box office as well, is because kids would have been a little bit too young to see Thunderbirds, even though it's a PG. So yeah, so I've seen it. I think I've seen it at a young age as well. Same time when Doctor Who came out in 2005. So yeah, I was hooked onto Thunderbirds, hooked onto Doctor Who, Star Wars, all that. So yeah, so no, no, out of a doubt that yes, I would have agreed. I do agree with some things, but another things that I don't agree on with him at all. Cause yeah, um, he's I don't think he's a Thunderbird fan basically, and I probably get slack from that from his fans, but I can take it. I can gladly take that if he's not a Thunderbirds fan, why make the video of completely slanting Thunderbird movie? So yeah, so I'm not exactly like get him. I do have a bigger fan base than him. He's got what? If I go onto his channel, uh, he's got 45,000 views on it, and his channel, he's got about 51,000 So yeah, so yeah, this guy clearly has a very small fan base, but yeah, it's it's more or less that you need to be a fan to do a good review on it, despite if it has some bad things about it, like with me. Like I would gladly put my hand up saying, yeah, Thunderbirds is not a perfect film. It's not a 10 out of 10. It's not levels of The Dark Knight or The Batman or Hellboy. Well, I wouldn't say Hellboy level, but I wouldn't say it's No Way Home, Spider-Man No Way Home level, The Martian level, that those good films, Avatar, that kind of level. It's more line of it. It's a kids film. It's a kids film, for goodness sake, and you have to expect that in kids film like these. Whether it's a PG, if it's a PG, you're gonna expect it. Okay, it's gonna be your run of the mill kids film, but hopefully it's somewhat good, and it was somewhat good. And me like thinking, oh, I wish they made the sequel, Thunderbirds 2, and that to continue off the story and that. But no, unfortunately, no, that's not. But I would say, yeah. My review of Thunderbirds, I would give it a 4 out of 5 or a 4 out of 10. Well, no, not 4 out of 10. If it was out of 10, I would give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's a morally decent film. Um, but yeah, so that's all I have to say about this guy reviewing the Thunderbirds movie. And then as well as that, the title he put in, that's the one that caught my eye as well. Thunderbirds 2004, Alan of Confusion. 13 minutes as well. Now I've made it into a 30-minute video. So, but yeah, and I can really see something else as well, which I might touch on as well, is Doctor Who Series 4. See what it says about that as well. If I see any negative marks about Series 4 with him, then I'm just gonna put all my previous statements from this video out of the water in that video, saying that nah, he's a fraud. He's a fraud. Like, but I wouldn't know because I haven't seen the video yet. So yeah, if he is a fraud, then I will say it loudly with 8 subscribers. Why he's got nearly 51,500 people. But yeah, so that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Next video will be probably this one, or well, not this one. I'll probably make it, and I'll just put it in the back burner. But yeah, so I'll see you next time. Peace. And if this guy ever responds to my video, yeah, I'm not judging you very crucially. I'm just judging you critically, as you did critically here. I'm not judging you the way that you said it as well, as much as I would judge you, because yeah, I am a big Thunderbirds fan. But yeah, I am a Thunderbirds fan, and you can't just say that this film was just made for people who haven't seen Thunderbirds. I've seen Thunderbirds well before this film came out. I was introduced to the puppet version of the Thunderbirds before this film came out. Or when this film was out, I was showed to that first, so can't just say that, mate. And for like the unnecessary segments of showing it at a DVD screen, saying it's much better than watching this film, just stop. Just stop. But yeah, that's my little rant over with you. But oh no, you do seem you have the right intentions of reviewing movies as well. There are some movies I would agree with you, because I do see one in one of your playlist options. You reviewed Superman: The Quest for Peace, which is a horrible bit of cinema. So I will agree with you with that. So until then, we'll see you next time. Stay reacting.